You give them advice. They don't listen. They come to you to vent. You spend hours analyzing the situation and offering solutions. The only response you get is silence. A few days later, they make the exact same mistake again. You start to think they're being stubborn, but in psychology, there's a much more interesting reason. It's this. Most people don't reject advice because it's wrong. They reject it because their brain isn't ready to accept it. People often believe that if advice is good enough, others will immediately follow it. But reality is the complete opposite. Our brains are not designed to prioritize the truth. They're designed to protect our emotions. When someone is hurting, disappointed, or deeply attached to a certain decision, the first thing they need isn't a solution. What they need is to feel understood. That's why when you say, just break up, don't stay in that job anymore, that person is taking advantage of you. Instead of thinking about your advice, their brain unconsciously sees those words as a threat, not because you're wrong, but because if they admit you're right, they also have to admit that they were wrong, and that's always difficult. You've probably seen a friend complain about their relationship over and over. Every time they say they're exhausted, you tell them they should leave. They nod, they thank you, but the next day, they go back to that person. That doesn't mean they weren't listening to you. It simply means they weren't ready to let go of what their heart was still holding on to. The truth is, very few people change because of a single piece of advice. Most people only change after they've experienced enough pain, enough disappointment, and finally reached their own conclusion. That's also why the exact same advice, if you give it today, they'll ignore it. But 6 months later, they'll say, now I finally understand what you meant. The advice didn't change. They did. So, if you truly want to help a friend, what should you do? Instead of trying to convince them, help them discover the answer for themselves. Don't say, you should break up. Ask, what makes you want to stay? Don't say, you're wrong. Ask, if your younger brother or sister were in this situation, what would you tell them? Questions like these don't force people, they encourage them to confront their own thoughts. And when a conclusion comes from within, it's far more powerful than advice coming from someone else. Finally, there's one thing we often forget. Sometimes your friend doesn't come to you looking for a solution. They come to you because they need a safe place to express what's been weighing on their heart. They don't need someone to fix their life. They need someone who will listen. Because sometimes what changes a person isn't the best advice. It's the feeling that even on their darkest days, there's still someone beside them who doesn't judge them.